Muhammad Ali.
His mama named him Clay. I'm gonna call him Clay.
That's right.
Anyway, as I said, Michael was a Boule member, and he was given a great task of building a bridge for the American Negro to cross over into the American Babylonian society. He represented himself as a Baptist minister of the faith of Jesus Christ that sought after equality for his people. But he was leading his people along with the rest of the world who believed him. He was leading them to accepting a path leading to a new world agenda. One of the Boule's first roles in this country was to keep the professional blacks away from Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey started the grass movement. His idea was to make America start a settlement in Liberia to control rubber crops and other natural resources. He started a Back to Africa movement, and W.E.B. Du Bois, a Boule member, was tasked with stealing the black professionals from the influence of Garvey because it went against the ultimate agenda. They wanted the Negroes in this country to assimilate and find refuge within their government system and not turn away from its influence until they were ready to assimilate us with their civil rights agenda. They used Jim Crow to move us through a goal of order out of chaos. And in the 50s and 60s, they turned the pressure up. The more they increased the pressure, the more Michael's platform grew because he was the one that seemed to be getting things done. And he steered the conversation, leading us to a promised land that was not biblically inspired, though he portrayed himself as a minister of the gospel. But there is an important point that was not known or understood or maybe brought to the attention of most people during this time. And because people were so oppressed and they were looking for a solution, what they were hearing at the time sounded credible to them. What I'm talking about is the social gospel. You see, the gospel was changed within the black church, and the people were no longer looking to be under the power of Yah and move for his kingdom to come, but they were now working towards their own kingdom and tied it with the gospel, and it is present to this day. This is what the gospel in America has been tied to, and it should be a missing link of connection to why many people that are actually reading their Bibles today feel a lack of attachment to the modern day church. When they allow politicians and the discussion of politics within their church, it's because they are dedicated to a social gospel. And during this time, during Michael King, they were working towards a social gospel. They are not applying Yah's word in full. They are using pieces of scripture to show how to obtain the world for yourself individually and collectively as a whole. This book, Jesus and the Disinherited, was an important and influential book whose message helped shape the civil rights movement. It was said many times by many people that Michael King often traveled with this book for Mr. Thurman.
People like Martin Luther King Jr., who reads the book, we know, shortly after it was published.
Martin Luther King Jr. always traveled with Jesus and the Disinherited. I mean, he'd clean underwear, shirt, and he'd have Howard Thurman in his briefcase.
Inspiration from this or that, go back and let them know where we got our inspiration. I read Das Kapital and the Communist Manifesto years ago when I was a student in college, and many of the revolutionary movements in the world came into being as a result of what Marx talked about. The great tragedy is that Christianity failed to see that it had the revolutionary edge. You don't have to go to Karl Marx. I got it from a man named Jesus, a Galilean saint who said he was anointed to heal the brokenhearted. He was anointed to deal with the problems of the poor. And that is where we get our inspiration. And we go out in a day when we have a message for the world, and we can change this world, and we can change this nation. This is his direct quote. This is the man that everyone holds up as their hero. He was a Baptist minister, and this is how he believed in the Messiah.
First, what is Marxism? Marxism is a social, political, and economic philosophy. It is mostly about the battle between the working class and the ownership class, and favors communism and socialism over capitalism. Marxism was first publicly formulated in 1848 in the pamphlet The Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, which lays out the theory of class struggle and revolution. It inspects the effects of capitalism on labor, productivity, and economic development, and argues for a worker revolution to overturn capitalism in favor of communism.
On some of Marx's work before he was an economist, because he wrote drama and he wrote poetry. And so, and your claim in the book is that, well, we should really be paying attention to some of that early work because it does something like set the frame. It sheds light on his motivation, and it also sheds light on the story that he was imagining or acting out. So can you make some comments about that?
Yeah.
Sir, how much poetry?
Well, there's quite a bit, and it's deeply disturbing stuff. All right, a lot of it is about the devil. Quite literally about the devil. It's chilling, right? Thus heaven I forfeited. I know it full well. My heart, once true to God, is chosen for hell.
Right.
1837.
Straight Lucifer from Milton.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to display is that this message from Michael was not inspired by Yah, but just interpretations of certain aspects of Messiah and tailored to an overall message of a promised land of equality and justice for all. And when he spread this message amongst an abused, oppressed generation that was looking for help, they really believed that this was about Yah because of the name of Jesus was brought in. But this promised land he was bringing them to was not the one promised by YAHUAH, but it's the promised land of this coming new world agenda. The desire for equality, no matter who you are, what you believe, and who you love. That's their promise. The promised land that King helped deliver was in that landmark civil rights and labor law passed in 1964. It outlawed discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, national origin, and later, it included sexual orientation and gender identity. This is why his speeches and his content and movement have been used many times on issues away from racial justice. I remember during the years of Obama how people like Al Sharpton used Michael King's teaching to promote LGBT agendas.
Stand up. Dr. King made history because he did. It is time for all of us across races, across religions, across beliefs, gender, and preferences to stand up like Dr. King. We have humanity at stake.
This is used very often.
Thank you, dear Lord, because we're reminded of what you said on the cross, that it is finished. Injustice is finished. Jogging while black is finished. Racially profiled is finished. Mandatory minimums is finished.
Own worlds instead of yielding to YAHUAH and allowing his will to be done. You will notice that the social gospel and all the rhetoric surrounding it doesn't even give a yielding to Bible prophecy because it has nothing to do with it. That's why we don't hear much about the end times Bible prophecy in the churches, because they are all about setting up their own kingdom on earth through their own power. Michael King was used to introduce a new path to equality that ties the whole world together. He will always be invoked because his premise was a major program for the world to fall under. But he was absolutely a controlled agent. This is why you see him in pictures with the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. This is why they gave him a Nobel Peace Prize. This is why you see a whole monument of him in the District of Columbia, and it's why all these satanic world leaders invoke his spirit when speaking on agendas that are coming forward in this world, leading towards a new world agenda. They choose Martin Luther King not because he had a nonviolent approach, but because he was able to lead a flock effectively into an ultimate trap that will leave people under a mental oppression for many generations to come. I mean, we're still under it to this day. And his message is a foundation that they have laid and just added to it. As he ended his speech with Jew and Gentile, Protestant and Catholic, that was acceptable language in the 1960s. But as the tolerance and acceptance of more has grown, they have included other faiths like Islam in. They have included gender equality and sexual orientation in as well. This was all a part of his dream.
We are the dream keepers, which is why we come today black and white and all races and religions and sexual orientations to say this dream is still alive. You might have killed the dreamer, but you can't kill the dream because truth crushed her.
The dream was the foundation on which they have built upon, and that's why they celebrate him.
A reality. We will make his dream come true.
What happened in the acceptance of his dream is that many people solidified their walk away from the power of Yah, and they never turned back. They felt like the power was in their hands to change the world instead of waiting on Yah to do so and being his vessel. You see, I'm certain that there are many people that have not actually read their Bibles, but they believe that they know what's said in it. And it is those people that probably don't see anything wrong with the social gospel because they don't know the true purpose of Messiah and what our Creator, YAHUAH, intends for this world. This is mind control that needs to be broken and stepped away from. but it has to be something that is even acknowledged that's there. This was a very serious time when all of this was happening. We're talking about the consistent oppression of a group of people that was happening during a period of time where the television became more prominent, allowing more people to see what was once being done, often in a vacuum unseen. People wanted change, and Michael King came to deliver it. And understand, that time will not come when it's fully realized until the world unites under one religion and one government. The Bible has been used as a weapon against humanity, all because people that believe in it don't read it, while they listen to people who also don't read it, but manipulate it to fit with their agendas. If you are attaching yourself to these agendas, you are not following the gospel found in the scriptures, but a manipulated agenda that leads to the Antichrist and a one-world religion. They want to pursue a utopia full of what they deem as love, but it comes at the price of canceling out the influence and the say of the Most High. And they use this dream of Michael King in order to sell it. They attach people to the social gospel while not allowing people to realize the difference between the good news of the scriptures and what they are advocating for.